All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science. Things that I mentioned in terms of the last segment. Right now, Chiron, in conjunction with Mars, is transiting through the Aries energies. Both the wound and the gift are emerging in this transit. Mars in Aries is the primal scream in terms of timeline trajectory. And all of this, like I've said, is on a very, very tight wheel. Here, in context, must be broken. It's all of these frags that are still trying to pull themselves into our minds, pull themselves into our energy systems. And these are things in context to pathways that need to be sealed out. And I'm talking about things that pull you into despair, pull you into a state of mind that is not serving you, let alone anything around you. And you need to recognize it for what it is. Both the wound and the gift are emerging in this transit of the underpinning energies that have come in with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius and the precession of the solstice, which is forcing the deep-rooted energies to whatever infection to be released. It's a rebirth, and is quite relevant in context to the energies that are coming in. It's why Mars waited in Aries in retrograde for so long. In 2021 will be the year that we make the choice and decide that all we are actually meant to become is in that choice. Everything seems to be sort of hammering still at the moment, but our choice is clear here. Continue to what the program is running in terms of the unconscious mind field, or find the will to break free from it and tap into your gift in context to Chiron. And if you're honest about the process of your higher dimensional awareness, here's where a few of the aspects that you may have been dealing with have come up as a result of all of this transit energy, in order to keep everything back that is truly there within the core, okay? And it's all of this crippling self-doubt and all of this lack of self-worth thought forms, which are not actually true, or falling into the idea that you have no right to exist, or feeling that who you are is fundamentally unacceptable, which pulls individuals to being overly involved with all of these issues and these fucking problems. These are the things that we have to break. These are the things that we have to realize are not coming from a place of true intelligence. And all the self-sabotage and underlying rage and frustrations, or the idea that you have to be self-sufficient in a militant way in order to mask any sort of fragile insecurities, which could force an individual to rush into things due to doubt and insecurity, which only leads to aggression and suppressed rage wherever you are. And all of these things coming up that are sort of putting things into a holding pattern just with everything. Do not allow yourself to be pulled into the idea that you are ugly or you are deformed and that you need to be ashamed or embarrassed of your body. This is the true technology. And all of the Mars and Aries energies and the Eris and Aries transits are initiating a powerful fire within the core of who we are, also in terms of the collective, whether they know it or not, so that we can face the fear of betraying ourselves, the true self, the true core essence of who we are, in trade for all of this other fucking bullshit that I just mentioned. Pluto and Mars want transformation and is showing us the reflection of these wounds, while at the same time the greatness of our gift is shining in its face with Chiron and Eris. And see, this is the portal that is firing up within these conjunctions, forcing us to make a choice. And see, it's the Force, right? Take it back to the Jedi. The Force is with you. we're either going to stay in the inversions and allow ourselves to fool ourselves into thinking it's okay to perpetuate willful ignorance, denying the true self and purpose here in context to the North Star trajectory on the 3 spirals of creation. First spiral of creation, solar spiral, or in turn embrace the response to action and actually find the courage within yourself to transmute what is there within you, whether you are dealing with it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, or temporally. This is where we decide. Can you open up your heart and allow the arrow point of Sagittarius to fire into the core of your own galactic center, igniting the flame of remembrance? All of these initiations that we have been going through individually this year, with the energies that are coming in, we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to continue pushing forward and to level up. And in context, there's no turning back. All of that is an illusion. What are you going to go back to? It's not the old, it's the new. And being in the new energies is conducive for creating that, when all of the things that have come up are going to be going out. And all that I've seen within myself in terms of who I am, and all that I've seen past all the bullshit with other people is meant to merge forth. That's where it clicks. That's the aha moment. And then you realize, and then you come into alignment, making the decision to focus and not jump the gun too early without a very, very clear trajectory. I understand the concept of strategy. These are some things that were specifically shared with another student that has contacted me, confirming too many individuals that are caught up in all of the propaganda that is still being spewed the fuck out. These are the veils that they want to keep you locked down into. I'm not in denial of all the potentials that could unfold. But like I said, this is our lives. What are we going to choose? What are we going to choose in action? What is your attitude towards things? And in terms of timeline trajectory and what is unfolding, the procession, all of that is going to continue. We are being prepared for yet another ignition like what happened on the 21st. Now, if you didn't feel it, it does not mean that it did not happen. Individuals like myself and others, I felt it immediately when I woke up. And it's not to compare or contrast, because if you are on the path and you are doing this for real, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you're not. You are where you are. And it's to shift your focus, and it's to shift attitudes and decide, I am not going to allow the darkness to take me. I'm not going to give myself over to things that are going to parasite my way of thinking, that are going to fuck up and skew my perceptions. And in terms of expression, if you're not evoking life, if you are not invoking encouragement, if you are not evoking that which is truly good, then it's just a pathway into your fucking mechanics. And this is how it works. You got to be very careful what you put before the windows of your soul. All in all, there is going to be, again, an opportunity. And if you feel shaky and if you feel like you're going down, you got to recognize again, like I said, you're not going down, you're moving through this shit. And it's meant to be lived. It's meant to be lived with passion and fire. And in context to fire, the flowering flame that breathes forth life, that breathes forth that which is good. I'm here speaking to the wise today. Because in terms of the divine masculine energy that is surging through my veins, I'm not going to hold back. The entire solar system is going into Scorpio as we start to embrace this Plutonian energy that is truly going to start to bring about the transformation. Right now, we are in rapid fire. And I remember times of initiation when I couldn't even keep up with my own thoughts. I couldn't necessarily distinguish what I was feeling because I was feeling so much all at once. And it's important in these times, no matter what the fuck is going on, do what you got to do, but be in a place of observation and don't allow the radar or your state of mind to lose focus in terms of what is being integrated here. All of the core issues, all of the core wounds, the core wound of humanity itself is now being released. The whitening stage of the alchemical rites of initiation. I mentioned and warned about last year in terms of the precession, transits, planetary stargates, all of this that I get into on the platform It's absolutely undeniable. And I wish more than half of you out there have listened to me. I'm being directed in terms of my connection to the higher force and what must be addressed. Take it or leave it. It's between you and that. All I can do is stand ground and hold space to the trajectory of what is meant. I will not diminish my passion. I will not diminish myself under no uncertain terms. And it's to recognize the hour that we are in and what we actually have access to. In the context to this segment, I'm going to be getting into the halls of Amenti. The halls therein, which is a portal that holds the race's blueprint that would allow human souls to potentially re-evolve back into its original blueprint as a 12D to 15D being. Everybody out there talking about 5D, what you don't understand about step-down consciousness, the fifth dimension is fucking compromised from the sixth, collapsed in on the fourth in terms of the tesseract. Skewed from the eighth gate into the sixth was how the circle of the magician was taken out of the equation, used in a very fucked up way in context to organized occultism and all this other bullshit. The halls of Amenti are a portal passage that are dimensional pathways to integrate and access potentially all grid works to the true universal tree of life into this third dimensional physical earth system. Again, everything is converging here. Everything is happening here. There is nothing that cannot be accessed here. I don't care what you haven't integrated or what you haven't seen. It doesn't matter. It can all be accessed. And in these halls specifically, there are large bound books and records with all of our human history. And where written, the real occult historical records are kept also in terms of personal codex, along with much, much more. Now, in terms of research and study, because I know a lot of you out there do research and study, you listen to commentary, you are hearing all of these things that so many people out there are saying. There's a lot of people out there speaking, but they're not actually saying anything. They're on the algorithm and cutting through that fabric. We have to look for the right clues to confirm the true records. And this is one of the major, major keys in terms of knowing how reality actually fucking works. And you must access these books and records from within yourself. You can ask for guidance to the most pertinent knowledge when accessed. And at this present time, reading the books and records with your blueprint inside them. Allegedly, not everyone is going to be granted access to these halls. It is said that you must earn it with a sincere inquiry of your soul to access the codex, soul codes, blood codes, all of that. And to deny any of it is to deny one's true self. Because in order to access that which is within the core, the true core essence, and embody that, one must enter the halls from within themselves. And by demonstrating the trajectory of your soul's purpose, not what is assumed, not what you think your purpose is, your true purpose. If not in alignment, it will pull you into situations that eventually will literally force the trajectory otherwise once the codex to records are activated. And see, this is what happened to me. I was painted into a fucking corner in terms of my life, and I had no choice but to start doing what I'm doing. And responsibility to guard and to protect humanity's genetic records and hidden histories were primarily given to specific ambassadors and the administration councils which oversee the networks and act as mediums and wayshowers to gain access to the star core portal ignitions. This is how you enter the gates of true intelligence. Those of you that have been initiated, you will know what I'm speaking about. This is when the internal dragon awakens. And it's not to the soul spark being eclipsed in context to ego. What did I say about the four cardinal directions? White dragon is of the north, black dragon is of the south, red dragon is of the west, yellow dragon is of the east. And that table is there. And to incarnate here on earth, one must enter through the sun, also the central sun of the earth, to access the Hall of Records. And to access the Hall of Records, one must ignite this from within themselves to the sole purpose of collective teams, partnerships, and individuals who support the evolution of themselves and humankind. They are pro-human. This is what we came here to master. We came here to master being human. We came here to master and know how to regulate the positive and negative charge of the energy force. We came here to come to know how to integrate the power of the masculine and feminine force coming together in alignment as it is meant to repair, modify, and upgrade these networks and secure the fields of Amenti. As is, the councils were assigned responsibility to the potential and recover themselves and the lost souls of Tara. 3 embodiments were always used to hold the tone sequence in matter, our physicality, with what is called the bass overtone resonator. It's just a term, okay? In other words, though, this is how I share things in context of the positive and negative charge of the energy force within the fulcrum of the circle of the magician, and using it the right way, not giving over to all of the inverted ways that, again, it's used in terms of ceremonial magic to the invocation, conjuring, or incantation of spirits. And I'm going to tell you something. Do not fuck with spirits. Any of it. All that shit is bullshit. I'm not down with spirits in terms of how most people think or perceive this shit. What you have to understand about archetypal consciousness, this is what these things come on in terms of what is actually there. Again, we're dealing with symbolism. We're dealing with concepts, how things actually work. The gods and goddesses are not to be worshipped because the real beings that we're dealing with here in context are not what the fuck you're dealing with. Observing archetypes is fine. In terms of the other way around, you're not dealing with Ra, and everything going back to Egypt is ultra fucking dark. I'm not down with any of it. Again, as I've stated, my focus has always been and will always be the higher force. This is all the other stuff that has been skewed in context that all of these interdimensionals play upon. And knowing the difference to that, you can really observe anything from an objective point of view, and you're not going to make some sacrifice to fucking Anubis or whatever. That's not how it works. That's how you get pulled into all the fucking bullshit. And again, I want to state this on here, and I want to make it very clear that if you cannot observe these things, then you're completely missing what I'm getting at here. Why? You're not ready for it. You're going to get pulled out into this fucking bullshit. What you need to focus on is the higher force. You have your own eternal spirit. Recognize it. I don't know how many times I have to say this. You have to own it. You have to claim it. And there's been a task force which was created to protect, build, and guard the stargates here on Earth from 1D all the way out to the core, from within to 15D, primal sound fields. And certain things have happened to the inner gates of Amenti. And the reason that they have been sealed out is due to internal conflicts. And I can't say enough how important the things I'm sharing with you are. Because certain things that I put out public, I have for the purpose of protection. It's a rational observation. We have to have the ability to judge right discernment. And it's not in terms of condemnation or looking down your nose at people. We have been forced to face the magic mirror gate. So onto all of the projections, all of the fucking bullshit flying the fuck out. This is where accountability comes into play. Knowing the difference. And then we can give it grace. We can give it levity. We can let it the fuck go. All of this to the original template was created as a part of the plan that is in trajectory to the lost souls of Tara. Stop acting like a lost soul and act like a soul that has found themselves. You're not what happened to you. You're not your wounds. You're not your trauma. You're not all of these things assumed in terms of programming, algorithm fucking bullshit. None of it is who the fuck you actually are. And all of this is made easier now to recover in terms of the procession. Coming into the age that we are now, when the halls of Amenti are going to be accessed by those that seek it, and those that have gone ahead and all of the bullshit which has been designed to divide and conquer among humans through interdimensional intruder alliances. Pay attention to what I'm saying. None of these interdimensionals are pro-human. Anyone that has bought into that idea has bought into a trick. You need to pay attention to your thoughts. Again, and train yourself how to think things on purpose and feel into things on purpose with focused intention. Yes, I know it's difficult, but this is how you create new pathways with the synapses and the neurons and all of these things to regulate the nervous system, the technology that we are utilizing to streamline sound, consciousness, energy, frequency, and vibration into physicality. And this is for the purpose to ensure that the inner stargates that are within yourself, the sphere of Amenti, it's the initiation, that no one is getting away from it, especially when we come into 2023, when Pluto goes into Aquarius. So the quicker you get on it, and if you've been on it for a really long time and you're still dealing with shit, do not relent, do not give up, focus. We cannot afford to be pulled into overlays and distortions. And see, the initiation that's taking place, it's between you and the higher force. And I remember the first time with me, I had no idea what was going on. Yet, at the same time, I made it through. And all of this fragmented consciousness that everyone is dealing with in context to lower systems, to be able to inhabit a body that allows consciousness to continue an evolutionary template, is capable of the inner ascension and biological consciousness expansion in the face of all constrictions. Apparently in the lower realm grid works, one of the main issues has been disembodied consciousness that, again, became parasitic. It's all this interdimensional bullshit in terms of the old ones. Take it to the mythos until you realize the difference. And to that as well, the true essence of what is there. You got to burn through that shit. You got to let it burn. This is what Seder is all about. It means to sieve. It means to boil. Solvet coagula. We have the option for embodiment so that things can evolve into something higher, into something better. I'm a person that knows that there is nothing that cannot be overcome. And to the idea that we can build new bodies and integrates and all this stuff, yes, it is possible. And that power can be accessed. But you have to believe in it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to see it. And in terms of the word faith, I'll throw it into this segment. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, yet seen. Again, you have to see with the inner eye, the first eye, the gates of true intelligence. And this is what I'm speaking about in terms of the halls. We can speak better. We can act better so that we as individuals, in terms of partnerships, in terms of all of these things in context to relationship, it's the gates of Libra. It's the gates of wisdom. All of this needs to be transmitted out of the burning pits of the duat. And in order to receive an ascending body, the consciousness must be willing to renounce parasitism in terms of sound, consciousness, energy, frequency, and vibration, and accept and embrace the integration process in terms of what it means to come into alignment with that actual star core ignition, that which is coming, that which has been working to come in terms of that star core ignition. And there are instruction sets within the Earth's core to the star core and thus within yourself. And souls that have been allegedly, quote unquote, trapped from the ancient Tarian explosion could remanifest themselves by incarnating into the third dimension from the original harmonic metaverse. This specific template. It doesn't matter what the level of damage is. in terms of what I'm getting at. It is here to access for those to whom it's meant. The last civilization to know about the halls of Amenti and the sphere of Amenti, purpose for basically holding the morphogenetic field power imprint for the evolution for all human tribes, were the ancient Egyptians before things became corrupt. It is to remember a time and a legacy that was working to be forged before all of this shit happened. And in terms of the procession, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but we're still on a rapid fire reel in terms of timeline trajectory of accessing the true Hall of Records. Those who carry this knowledge, which encompasses all things to life and beyond. In terms of grid networks of consciousness, the records that were attempted to be destroyed as a result of the Atlantean cataclysm, the fact is the true records, they've been kept. The records that were destroyed were not the true records. See, they can't fuck with the trajectory. And I'm not going to stand to the idea, to the thought form, that it's bullshit. Because it's not. And the way you access the true records is from within yourself. Now, in context to things that were taken in fragments and an upgrade here from the original plates in terms of the 11th gate access point, it is stated that deep within the Earth's heart, the halls of Amenti can be accessed. Far beneath the islands of sunken Atlantis, beyond the halls of the dead and halls of the living, we are bathed in the fire of the eternal all. Far in past time, lost in the space of time, the children of the true light codex looked out across the world, seeing the children of men and their bondage. They knew that only by freedom from this bondage and context could man ever rise from the lower earth gridworks and integrate from themselves to the central sun, taking the semblance of men and women as their own. And see, that's the thing. To incarnate here, the law of gender abides. This is how the positive and negative charge of the energy force comes together in terms of harmony. And we must allow the higher force to move through us with one another. That's one of the main keys. And look, this has nothing to do with fucking religion. This has nothing to do with all the bullshit that they put out there in context. This is where they've taken it from. Assuming that it's something outside of yourself, but it's not. I've said this for well over a decade now, public, that all is within. And so taking the semblance that we have here as men and women, the masters of everything said in terms of their forming, we are they who were formed from the all, partaking of life from the eternal all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Then for a dwelling place far beneath the earth's crust, blasted great spaces, which they by their power, spaces apart from the children of men, surrounded them by forces, shielded from harm, from the halls of the dead. Side by side then, placed the other spaces, filled them with life and with a true light from above, which is also that is within. This is where the halls of Amenti were built, that they might dwell eternally there in peace and wholeness, being present here in terms of that trajectory, living with life and the sons and daughters of the true light who had come among men, seeking to free not only themselves, but also potentially those that were bound from beyond. Deep within the halls, there is a great flower flaming, expanding, which drives backward the dark, cold night, and is a life-giving force of power to all that come near it. There, time after time, placed they their first created bodies, filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame come forth from within their bodies, quickening and awakening the spirit of life. And there in the circle, from aeon to aeon, sit the great masters in terms of the ancestors, living in a way that is not known for the most part among men. Time after time, free flows their soul through the bodies of men and women. As I do, I'm going to pull everything into a break. And when I return, I'm going to go a little bit further in terms of what I'm sharing here with this segment. This is Sethicus Boza, Black Earth Productions. I will return after the break. Suppose Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science. In light of everything that I've shared so far, in light of everything that's happening in these moments, again, I sincerely want to petition everybody out there that is listening to hold ground and recognize the difference in terms of all of the things that have been assumed, which are nothing to do with who you truly are at the core. I know this process hasn't been easy. I know that this life hasn't been easy, but it is to remember in order to bring back that memory, in order to move through and recognize the difference in terms of everything. It's not for me to tell anyone who they are, but it is my responsibility, especially as a man that knows the difference, to be able to see clearly and direct the affairs of energies and see past everything, and having the gift to be able to extract not only the poison that is there, but also the true potential and all of the underlying factors, removing them in order to have a clear trajectory of what is seen, holding patience in terms of the procession, recognizing the difference. This, for me, has been one of the greatest trials of my entire existence, as I know it is for a lot of you out there. Fact is, though, the horns are sounding, and it's to set things forth in this segment in terms of what is going to manifest, what is manifesting. I declare it in terms of my codex, and it's to remember the difference when we see ourselves and when we see one another. I'm going to let no one condemn me into everything in terms of the true technology. Again, while the body could be dealing with so many things, all of our bodies, physically, mentally, emotionally, etherically, all of these things happening on a multidimensional level. Look, there isn't anything that can't be overcome. You got to take it to wisdom. Again, it's all about our state of mind. But mind is not the brain. Mind is something much deeper and more profound. The brain trajectory in terms of how our thought and emotion operate, again, that is the radar. And you want the radar to be in alignment with the gates of true intelligence. And so out of the darkness of ignorance into the true light of proper knowledge and wisdom, there in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom. Most of this is not known to the races of mankind like it should be, like it was, living forever near the fire of life, the children of the true light. Times there are when they awaken and come from the depths to be blazing torches among men, ridiculed, misunderstood, misrepresented, but their flame cannot relent. And there are those that hear, and there are those that come as well. And so who we are among one another, who we are here in this reality field. The difference in context is embodying it and living it with a conviction, not afraid to have a voice. And all of us have to have a voice. If you don't have a voice for the truth, this is what brings life. This is what tears down the barriers. This is what destroys all of the fucking bullshit. This is what does it. Your evocations. Mastering thought and emotion, mastering your speech, for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak forth. Do you have a dark heart? Or is your heart a blazing flower in context? We have to set ourselves free from the bonds of the darkness of willful fucking ignorance, everybody. Still. And within the flower of radiance sit 7 from the 7th space times to the ancient future, helping and guiding with wisdom, a pathway through the time that the children of men have grown weary, the children of men have grown tired, the children of men have started to lose hope. So where are the fucking men? Where are the ones that are going to step up and say it like it fucking is? Well, you're listening to one right now. And if you can't resonate with that, well, I don't know what else to tell you. But there is a gate there, and the only way to get to the top of that mountain is through the corridors that you have to burn through in context. You have to let it go. Like I was talking about in the last segment, the darkest corners need to resolve a pathway through the timeline trajectory unto the children of men. None of you out there hearing my voice right now, you have to know how to gauge energies, knowing that we are there that know how to access life force energy. And feeling difference among the children of men. You might have the feeling that you don't fit in anywhere. Why is that? Because you are here to create something else in alignment. And in terms of network on the platform, everybody out there, hear what I'm saying. This is what we all came in for. and like those to observe the force of man's bondage, ready to loose when the true light has been reached. The first sits the veiled presence and holds the keys to timelines. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, guiding the potential destiny of mankind. And here is where we pour out, mighty and potent. We are not of this lower world, to it in terms of incarnation. Judging and weighing with wisdom, observing the progression. Never be free from the pathway of the true light. Proper knowledge and wisdom. I mean, honestly, common sense, right? But it ain't so fucking common in the way that it should be. One step is gained on the long pathway upward, the mountain of the true light. Know that your progress lengthens the goal. And if you approach the eternal wisdom, ever before thee recedes the goal, free to access the halls, free to access the true records through all of the halls that are deep in the hidden land. And that hidden land is you, the inner landscape. We all have to traverse the Shadowlands, but we are not meant to be caught there. Again, like I said, we are coming into the Phoenix now. And all of this, in terms of the mysteries that are not known to mankind through the passages, you will be led therein, into the halls where transformation takes place. Vast as the space, the great halls will stand before you. Walled, yes, by darkness, yet filled with the true light of proper knowledge and wisdom. All of your books and records are there. So call not your flame into the darkness of the night, but extract the inner knowing and see that there before you, and to our kin, lifted from darkness into the true light. Release your flame from its bondage. You got to release the flame, the true flame. You have to release the true flame. Free and let it flame through the darkness of the night. Flame after flame, and through veil after veil, the flame will come forth as a flower of fire. These are lights that are souls among men. And when they have bloomed into the flower of fire, reaching zenith, this is where we start to expand other flames with greater power going out, unquenched by the veils of the night. So grows the souls of men and women ever upwards, quenched yet not unquenched by the darkness of night. And see, realize the only obstacle that truly stands in your way is yourself. We must remember this, because those in terms that know the difference, it's about moving things upwards and not allowing our fire to be quenched. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward. Flame forth and conquer the veils of night. For in the midst of the flames, in the darkness you will grow, flaming and expanding, ever brighter, until that to who you truly are is revealed, accessed, integrated. And see, here you must master your voice. You must master your speech. Again, communication is vital. You must master your thoughts and recognize your own soul as it grows in wisdom. Forward, you will be led through many great spaces filled with the mysteries of the children of the true light. Mysteries that may never even be known. Because if you have codex to bring forth, then now is the time to bring it forth. This is how you change the energy. This is how you change your system. This is how. And you have to bring it forth from within yourself. And unto the cycles, we must speak forth words of great power until they too are flames among mankind. Freed from the veils that surrounds them, flaming, take the wisdom. Take it as I give it to you, and lend me the dweller. I speak to all you men out there. I speak to all you women. We must get all of this rolling the correct way. Stop staring into the fucking abyss, look up, and build that bridge, sealing off the void. Again, like I said, I will not bypass anything. But this is the attitude that we have to have in the face of whatever we are dealing with. Knowing and believing in yourself and believing in others that know the difference, that hold true to conviction. There can be no true joy otherwise. The halls are before us. True authentic passion and the goodness of life. Again, this is our birthright. Again, in terms of conviction here, it is a matter of alignment into whatever capacity that is there. You have to own it. You have to embody it. Do not be pulled back into old patterns, old ways of thinking, old ways of being, all that fucking shit that has nothing to do with the trajectory of what this path work is all about. For your sake and for the sake of those around you, in terms of resonance, continue to move upwards and focus. Your records can be accessed. Everything that you need in terms of integration to repair the mechanics, to repair everything is there. Again, people do not understand how unbelievably powerful the mind actually is. And yeah, some things might take time, but nothing is impossible. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to know that it can happen. It's a decision. It's an attitude adjustment. And many of my mentors throughout my life have always told me, ironically, our attitude is going to determine our altitude. It's okay to feel and be real. We got to be fucking real. I don't know how to be otherwise. And hold myself accountable to all of this in terms of the platform. And everybody out there that fucking gets it. And then maybe we could dance around this blazing fire with true joy, recognizing the difference, instead of being pulled into the flames of the duat, which can never be quenched. It is not the same as the flame of the purifying fire. Scorched torment is not our destiny. And so to this and everything that I've touched upon with this specific segment, anybody out there that is interested in accessing what is there within yourself and coming to know the difference, then hit me up. To stay sharp, we have to continue to reach out. And those of you listening, maybe for the first time, if anybody out there is interested in the Mystery School, then send me an email at blackearthproductions@hotmail.com. Check out the website again at blackearthproductions with a Z.com. Into the unseen halls of eternity. Again, all is within you. Be empowered, be encouraged. Everything that you know in terms of activation cannot be denied. Own it. This is Seth Esposa, Black Earth Productions. Own the alignment.